Tomorrow we'll honor our colleague and friend Dave Brown. Our longtime sports director died earlier this month. Dave was an organ donor recipient and a strong advocate of organ donation awareness. That's why we want to continue his effort. Channel 5 News is teaming up with the Texas Organ Sharing Alliance to host an organ donor registration drive. That's happening tomorrow. So joining us now is Melissa de los Rios, an organ donor recipient. Melissa, thanks so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Tell us about your journey. How did you get here? How did you become a donor recipient, an organ donor recipient?
From the beginning?
From the beginning.
Okay. I was 21 years old when I was diagnosed with kidney failure. Did dialysis for 4.5 years. Got the transplant from a 2-year-old little boy. And after my transplant, it lasted 5-6 years. Ended up getting a second transplant. Well, did dialysis for another 6-7 years, and then I got the second transplant. That was from a 31-year-old male, and that one lasted about 7 years. And then I just recently received my final kidney transplant from a 61-year-old female, and that one tomorrow will be 7-year anniversary, kidney anniversary.
So you've received 3.
Yes, that's correct.
Organ donations.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like when you heard the news that you got an organ?
Well, my first one, it was happy, blessed, but at the same time sad because a little boy passed away. It was very hard. It took me a long time dealing with it until I finally just accepted the fact that I was blessed. And that's how I had to accept it. On my second kidney transplant, it was also a blessing. I did good. I was, it was just another transplant. But I was happy about it as well. But my last kidney transplant, I waited a while longer, and it was a harder match because I had so many antibodies. Mm-hmm. So it was very difficult to receive that transplant. And my body was going to eventually reject. It just so happened that the person that donated her kidney after she passed away had this same amount of antibodies, which is how I got blessed with this kidney.
So what was the longest amount of time that you had to wait? Because we learned this week that there are 10,000 people on a waiting list to get an organ.
About 7.5 years.
7.5 years. And when you heard the news that you finally got one, as you mentioned.
Extremely happy. When I got my last call, my daughter was the one that was very nervous. She was running back and forth and scared. All I did was just pray, and I kept drinking positive and telling myself that this one was for me. All the ride to Galveston, I kept praying and saying, this one's for me. Even though I was not actually the person that was supposed to receive it. There was 2 other people that were before me. I was the one that ended up getting it instead of the other gentleman. So I was extremely happy, extremely happy.
This was obviously a very long journey. It's been life-changing for you. What's your message to those who haven't registered to become an organ donor or who are hesitant to become one?
It's funny that you say that. I ran into somebody at Walmart, and this person happened to mention to me that when she got her new license, when she renewed her license, she decided not to be a donor. I asked her why. She said because she had been told that if she went into the hospital, being that she was a donor, that she wasn't going to be taken care of. And I explained to her that that was a misconception. If anything, they would take better care and make sure that even if it was something so simple that wasn't going to cause her to die, it was going to help. They were going to help her because she's a donor and they wanted to keep her healthy. And and I explained, you're not going to be, just because you become a donor on the driver's license doesn't necessarily mean that you will be able to transplant, because you have to be brain dead. So it's very important because there are thousands on the waiting list right now waiting for that second chance of life that you have already received. And we thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. Thank you for having me here.
And if you'd like to register to be a donor, come on by our station tomorrow in Weslaco from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. You can sign up to be a donor and help save a life. We're at 900 East Expressway 83. The Texas Organ Sharing Alliance will also be here to help with the process. Channel 5 News at 6. We'll be right back.